My name is Laurie Proulx, and I'm the second vice president with the Canadian Arthritis Patient Alliance. I am happy to be here today with Michael Kuluva as we celebrate Arthritis Awareness Month. As many of you know, we are a grassroots, patient-driven, and managed organization. And so every member of the CAPA board of the directors lives with different types of arthritis. So Michael joined the board earlier this year, and we thought we would take this opportunity to formally introduce him to our community. Hello, Michael. It's really nice to have you here.
Hi, Laurie. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
All right. Yeah, so just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am Michael Kuluva. I am a rheumatoid arthritis patient and advocate. I am on the CAPA steering committee, like you said, and I have been living with arthritis for about 10 years now. I am also a fashion designer. I am a retired professional figure skater for the United States, and I'm also on some TV shows you might see.
Wow, it sounds really impressive. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with arthritis? I mean, it sounds like you've been an athlete and then arthritis sort of comes along. That must have been challenging for you. So when were you diagnosed?
Yeah, so I was diagnosed around 10 years ago. I was just finishing my figure skating career on tour in Europe, and I kind of just felt like my body was tired. Like I really just needed a big break. So I decided to go to school for fashion design, and I've always been contemplating going back for something different than skating. So transition in fashion was awesome for me. However, when I was in school, I one day was walking to class and I just had this massive pain just take over my body, and I almost thought it was a kidney stone. So I went to my kidney specialist, my urologist, and he said, "No, I think you should go try a rheumatologist." And I said, "Okay, that's kind of weird. Just kind of so off." He's like, "Just rule it out." And when I went to this doctor, my body lit up like a Christmas tree with the test that they did. So I had a lot of inflammation in my joints, and there was pain, and it was scary at first. You just didn't know what that was until you start really finding out more about it yourself.
Yeah, I know. I think the road to diagnosis and just, understanding what the disease is all about is challenging for so many people living with arthritis. From your perspective, I mean, it's been 10 years now since you've been diagnosed, officially with rheumatoid arthritis. What are some of the biggest challenges that you find there are of living with the disease?
I think the biggest challenge, and I think most of the arthritis patients were on the same page on this, is that you cannot see this disease usually. So for people to understand it and comprehend some days that you're in pain and some days you're not, which they can't visibly see, is quite challenging, I feel. I think as well as the stigma with it, there aren't just older people with osteoarthritis. It has younger juvenile arthritis. I mean, I have rheumatoid arthritis. Along with fibromyalgia, like there's a lot of different combinations that people have. And I think just understanding the basis of each disease, or the main disease, is really educational for so many people. And it makes people understand that just because you can't see it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, I could definitely relate to some of those points. I mean, I was diagnosed with juvenile idiopathic arthritis when I was 14. So there was just so many things and so many different challenges, especially,
Yeah.
going to school and, hanging out with your friends. And it's just like you said, something that people typically think of something that is for older people and doesn't affect people at the prime of their lives.
Yeah, I was quite young. I was in my mid-20s when I got diagnosed, and I was unable to, go to parties and stay up late. I would be in bed by 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock sometimes, but then you might be up early in pain, and your sleeping is a little bit off, and you just can't explain that every day to people. So I think it's just the challenge of having to cope with it on a daily, hourly, minute basis it's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. I think a lot of people in our community have come up with that term pain-somnia, right? To reflect how the pain of living, well, any type of pain can keep you up at night and cause a lot of sleep problems. So,
It does, yeah.
yeah, definitely. So, I mean, like considering all that, and so now we have, COVID-19 has sort of been the focus of 2020. So how, what do you feel are some of the, has the pandemic made any of these things worse? Are there any particular challenges that you feel are being faced?
I think for a lot of arthritis patients, we have dealt with COVID like champions. I think a lot of us are already in our bubble usually. So I think not a lot of stress has been on us as much as some of the other people who are very social, who are out there all the time in the public and maybe have a public job. For us, as being patients of arthritis and on certain medications, you do limit yourself to certain group activities or different situations that you would put yourself at risk, knowing that you do have autoimmune disorder and disease. So I think for me personally, I actually don't mind it too much. I enjoy a lot of the things that have come out of it with these virtual conversations and meetings, and I enjoy that. I also have felt that my patient care from my doctors has been still adequate and amazing, and I've been able to connect with them in person and also virtually. So I think there's a lot of new connections. I think we were just had to speed up the future a bit with this pandemic, with technology. But for me, I've been doing okay.
Well, that's good to hear. I know everyone, comes from a different place and, some may have had more challenges than other, but I guess, being online, it's true, there's been quite, it sort of has accelerated, doing things like this, right? So we can try to be
Exactly.
together virtually and in different formats. So beyond the pandemic, I mean, I know you've done a lot of different things with the arthritis community. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that or?
Sure. Well, I've worked with CAPA now for around 5 or 6 months now. So it's getting
Mhm.
already, I can't believe how fast it goes. And it's just been a great experience trying to be more of an advocate in another country that I live in and trying to really connect all the different connections that I have between the States and Canada, trying to get as much awareness as we can. And I've been working on a new fashion line that does have arthritis as its, I guess, a little bit of an inspiration for it. I always like to have some part of my collection really geared toward the arthritis community each year, as long as it's something even as small as a magnetic closure for our pants or our, instead of using buttons, and we try to use zippers and elastic and just try to make it as easy as possible. So a lot of my designs have been super easy and very COVID conscious. So we like to stay on that with another organization as well, Creaky Joints, and they are an amazing organization in the United States. I've been working with them since around 2016, and they are just another great advocacy group and definitely want the best for the patients. So yeah, between both organizations and doing tweet chats and doing Instagram and videos, it really does keep me really busy. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it sounds like it. I know, and we've had the pleasure of working with Creaky Joints as well, and on one of our Twitter chats or a few of our Twitter chats. So definitely great to see some work being done north and south of the border.
Exactly.
So no, and I think that sounds great. It's exciting to see that you've tried to make some of your clothing line inclusive for people with arthritis. People don't always think about some of the challenges. I know, like you said, doing buttons up can be challenging, or laces, or any of these things, and often that's a big consideration for me as someone with a lot of joint damage in my hands, especially trying to make sure that my clothes are fashionable and are easy to get on. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, so anyways, thank you so much, Michael, for chatting with me today. I mean, this is the first of some of the activities that we will be doing for Arthritis Awareness Month, which is September here in Canada. We will be holding a Twitter chat later on in September. So please stay tuned for, more information on that, including our hashtag arthritis then now. So the idea being that we're going to be looking at, what is it like to live with arthritis now versus, 30 years ago, for example, or 25 years ago. I know I have some personal experiences since I've, lived with this condition for as long as I have, going on 30 years, but not everyone is aware. And so what are some of the changes and evolutions in treatment and outcomes for people living with arthritis? So again, stay tuned for the hashtag arthritis then now. So thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.